There are doors that only open when you are willing to walk in obedience, even when that step does not agree with your own will, does not feel comfortable to your emotions, and is not approved by everyone around you. My beloved child, do not think that victory only comes after loud shouts or great signs before your eyes. Many times, victory begins in a very quiet moment, when you lower your ego, when you stop arguing with what I am reminding you of within your heart, when you choose to do what is right, even though it costs you the comfort you have grown used to. I am not looking for half-hearted obedience from you, the kind that only follows when the road is smooth, only trusts when everyone applauds, only lets go when you no longer love that thing. I am calling you into a deeper surrender, where you say to me with your whole life, even though I do not yet understand everything, I still trust that the one who leads me is kind. Do you know this, that many things you are trying to keep are not truly bringing life to you, but have simply become familiar to you for too long? There are connections that were present in one season, but were not appointed to go with you into the next season. There are voices that once made you feel comforted, but little by little, they pulled you farther away from true peace. There are hands you have been unwilling to release, but those very hands are keeping you outside the land I have prepared. I do not tell you to let go because I want to hurt you. I tell you to let go because I see the end of the road that you cannot yet see. I know which relationship is making your mind heavy, which habit is dimming your eyes, which attachment is stealing the purity I placed within you. When I remind you to step away, it is not punishment. It is deliverance wrapped in a gentle warning. But my child, obedience is not only leaving what is wrong. Sometimes obedience is also forgiving what has wounded you. Forgiveness does not mean you deny your tears, nor does it mean you give back the right to enter your life to the things that once hurt you. Forgiveness means laying the burden down from your trembling hands, giving judgment back to me, and allowing your heart to breathe in clean air again. When you continue to hold bitterness, you think you are protecting yourself, but in truth, you are allowing an old wound to direct every thought, every word, and every decision. I want you freer than that. I want you to step out of the dark room of memory, not by your own strength, but by trusting that I am the one who sees all things, hears every sigh, and never overlooks any injustice. Remember the story of Naaman, a great commander who carried within himself a disease that made him ashamed, though outwardly he had reputation and power. He went seeking healing, but what he received was not a grand ceremony or a brilliant declaration as he had expected. He was told to go down to the Jordan River and wash 7 times. For a man accustomed to honor, that word was difficult to hear. It was too simple, too lowly, nothing like the way he had imagined a miracle would come. At first he was angry, because the pride within him did not want to bow before an ordinary river. But when he humbled himself and followed the instruction, the impossible happened. Do you see? His victory did not lie in his sword, his position, or his fame, but in the moment he obeyed something that seemed small. In the same way, what I tell you to do today may not be dazzling, impressive, or admired by anyone, yet that quiet obedience will become the water that washes away what has clung to you for too long. Therefore, do not take lightly the small promptings within your heart. Do not delay when I tell you to apologize. Do not bargain when I tell you to close a conversation that is no longer pure. Do not make excuses when I tell you to stop a habit that is pulling you down. Do not return to the door I have closed, simply because you feel lonely for a moment. There are temptations that do not come in an ugly form, but come as false comfort, a temporary escape, an opportunity that seems harmless, but look at its fruit. Anything that takes you away from peace, away from prayer, away from truth, away from purity, no matter how gentle its appearance may be, you should not hold it to your heart. I am not taking from you what is precious. I am only separating you from what disguises itself as precious, so that you will have room to receive what is real. I know there are times when you grow tired of doing what is right while others do not understand. Sometimes you choose silence, and they think you are weak. Sometimes you choose forgiveness, and they assume you do not know pain. Sometimes you walk away, and they accuse you of changing. But child, do not allow the judgment of people to pull you away from my guidance. Not everyone who watches you understands the battle within you. Not everyone standing near you knows what I have saved you from. You do not need to explain everything to everyone. There are acts of obedience that only I need to know. There are times when you cry in secret, yet heaven receives it as a wordless act of worship. There are choices you make quietly, yet in the spiritual realm, they have already broken chains that have existed for a very long time. What I have prepared for you cannot be placed into hands still gripping the past. A new blessing cannot dwell in a house filled with the old echoes of fear, resentment, and compromise. I am teaching you to let go, not so that you become empty, but so that you become open. I am teaching you to step away, not so that you become lonely, but so that you can be led to the people, places, and rhythms that match the peace I give. I am teaching you to forgive, not so that you lose, but so that you are no longer bound to the one who wounded you. When you obey, you do not lose control. You surrender the right to lead to the one who loves you more deeply than you understand yourself. So rise in gentleness and strength, beloved child. Do what I have placed in your heart for a long time. The thing you know is right, but have still been hesitating to do. Offer forgiveness where it is needed, but also rebuild holy boundaries when I tell you to. Step away from temptation before it has the chance to call your name again. Release the cords that no longer carry life, even if they once felt familiar. And as you walk, do not fear the empty space ahead. That space is not an abyss. It is where I will plant something new. Your full obedience will become a level path beneath your feet, and what once stood against you will have to make way for my good purpose. You do not walk alone. I go before you to open the way, beside you to uphold you, and behind you to guard you from the things you have courageously left behind. Beloved child, there are restorations that do not begin by my adding something new into your life, but by my gently taking from your hands what you have held too tightly. You often ask me to make all things new, yet you become afraid when I touch the places you still want to control for yourself. You ask me to heal you, yet you keep old wounds as evidence for self-defense. You ask me to guide you, yet you still want to hold the map in your hands and choose the path according to what feels safe to you. So today, I remind you with the love of a father, true restoration cannot grow on soil still filled with old roots that have not been uprooted. To be truly free, you must lay at my feet not only the things you hate, but also the things you love, the things you are proud of, and the things you have used to define yourself. Do not be afraid when I tell you to surrender your dreams to me. I do not despise the desires within you, for many good things were planted in you by me from the beginning, but there are dreams that have become mixed with fear, comparison, impatience, or the longing to be recognized by others. There are plans that look bright at first, but underneath are built on the pressure to prove yourself. There are images you try to maintain before people that leave you weary to the point of exhaustion, because you think that if you are not strong, not perfect, not in control of everything, then you will lose your worth. No, my child, your worth is not found in the appearance you build, nor in how much you are able to accomplish. You were loved before you succeeded, called by name before you knew how to defend yourself, and kept by me even when you no longer had strength to stand upright. Because I love you, I will not let you continue living in a house whose foundation is cracked. I will not merely repaint the outside walls, while the inside remains damp, dark, and suffocating. I will bring light into the corners you once locked away. I will touch the things you thought no one was allowed to touch. I will burn away what is drawing you away from life, even if it once carried a familiar beauty. My fire does not come to destroy you, but to purify you. What needs to end will be brought to its end. What needs to be awakened, I will call forth at the right time. There are things within you that must grow silent, so my voice can become clearer. There are desires that must fade, so true peace may have room to dwell. There are paths that must close, so you no longer return to the place that once held you captive. Remember the story of Gideon, a man who once hid in fear, thinking he was small, weak, and unable to do anything great. When I called him to rise, I did not begin by sending him immediately into the battlefield. First, he had to tear down the false altar in his father's house and cut down what had stood there too long as a familiar power. That was not an easy thing, because it touched family, tradition, the fear of opposition, and the cost of obedience. But before he could win outwardly, he had to let me deal with the bondage inside his own house. Do you see? Public victory is often born from hidden obedience. I do not merely want you to look strong before others. I want you truly delivered from the hidden altars you have grown used to living beside. Therefore, when I ask you to lay down control, do not think I am taking away your safety. That false control is what has stolen your sleep, made you tense, and kept you living in constant caution and anxiety about the future. You try to hold every person, every outcome, every door, and every timing in your own hands, but your hands are too small to carry the whole future. Let me be your father in the truest sense. Let me arrange what you cannot arrange. Let me repair what you have tried to fix by your own strength, only to make more tangled. When you let go, you do not fall into emptiness. You fall into my faithfulness. When you stop protecting yourself with cold walls, you will learn that my covering is gentler, yet stronger than every fortress you have ever built. There will be times when this process hurts, because when the old is separated from you, it often leaves a feeling of emptiness. You may miss an old habit, an old person, an old role, an old dream, even though you know they no longer belong to the road I am leading you on. You may feel like a grain of wheat buried deep in the soil, silent, dark, unseen, and unpraised. But child, a seed is not buried to be forgotten. It is planted to sprout. There are seasons when I bring you into silence, not to abandon you, but so that what is false may fall away, and what is true may be formed. When the hard shell breaks open, new life can rise. If you only want comfort but cannot endure transformation, you will remain forever near the door of freedom without stepping through it. Lay your comfort at my feet also. Many times, you think peace means not being touched, not having to change, not having to face what is difficult. But the peace I give is not a blanket covering delay. My peace can lead you into courageous decisions, necessary goodbyes, honest confessions, and steps that make you tremble at first. Comfort can sometimes become a beautifully decorated cage. You stay there so long that you begin to think it is home. But I did not create you to live small in what is familiar. I call you out of the old place, not because I do not know you are afraid, but because I know you will bloom when you dare to trust. So today, draw near to me with open hands. Do not give me only the part you no longer need. Give me also the part you still want to keep. Give me the plan you have drawn, the reputation you want to protect, the image you are afraid to lose, the relationship you cannot bear to release, the pain you have used as armor, and even the future you still try to predict day by day. I will not treat what you surrender with harshness. I will separate with love, cleanse with mercy, and restore with my gentle power. Whatever no longer serves life within you, I will allow it to pass. Whatever I have planted with good intention, I will bring back to life, purer, stronger, and more beautiful. Child, deliverance does not come from holding on to more, but from trusting me enough to release completely. Do not be afraid of the holy fire passing through your life. After that fire, you will no longer be the one held captive by old fears. After that breaking, you will recognize that there are pieces that do not need to be put back together because I am building something new within you. After that surrender, you will find your hands lighter, your steps steadier, and your breath more peaceful. Let me finish what I have begun. Let me take away what must pass and awaken what must rise. When you place everything at my feet, you do not lose yourself. You find again the person I have loved, called, and kept from before you knew how to call my name. Do not be quick to call separation a loss, and do not be quick to think silence means abandonment. There are quiet spaces that are healing rooms I have prepared for you, where there are no longer arguments pulling you down, no longer glances that make you doubt your worth, no longer constant collisions that keep your mind from resting. When I draw you away from certain people, some habits, an environment, or an old rhythm of life, it is not because I want you to lack love, but because I know you need to hear my voice again in clarity. Noisy places can make you so accustomed to tension that you begin to think tension is normal. Relationships full of struggle can make you mistakenly believe that love must always come with exhaustion, but I do not teach you to live that way. I call you to green pastures where you learn again the breathing rhythm of grace. Sometimes I do not answer immediately with a new person, a new opportunity, or a bright event. Sometimes I answer by closing a door, bringing a conversation to an end, loosening a bond, or allowing you to enter a season where there is only you and me. At first you may feel empty, because you have grown used to measuring safety by the voices beside you, by messages arriving, by recognition, by the feeling that you are still needed. But child, not every presence brings life to you, and not every absence is a disaster. Some absences are disguised grace. Some people leaving opens the sky so you can become whole. Some distances that seem cold are in fact the protective wall I build, so the storm no longer strikes directly against your heart. Remember the story of Elijah by the brook Cherith. After the days of standing before the king, after powerful declarations, after the tense atmosphere of a drought-stricken nation, I did not bring him into the crowd to be praised. I led him to a hidden place, beside a small stream, where he had to live in concealment and be fed in a way human reason could hardly understand. That brook was not a palace, nor was it a stage. It was a place of separation, where I kept my servant from the chaos outside and prepared him for what came next. Do you see? At times, solitude is not a sign of failure. It is where I nourish, wash, and strengthen the one I love before the next step. If Elijah had stayed in the noisy place, only because he feared being forgotten, he would not have received the quiet care beside the stream that I had prepared for him. So when I place you in a quiet season, do not resist by running to seek other noise to fill the space. Do not hurry to pull back what I am separating from you. Do not use busyness as medicine to cover sorrow. Do not use useless conversations to avoid facing what I want to heal within you. The silence you fear may be my gentle hand, resting on the places that have been stirred up for too long. The distance that makes you sad may be the road by which you recover clarity. The loneliness you are tasting may be a holy room, where I teach you that you do not need to be surrounded by others in order to be safe. When there are fewer voices, you will realize that my voice has never been far from you. When fewer hands pull at you, you will feel my hand upholding you more clearly. I know that you once tried to keep peace by enduring things you should not have endured. You once thought that if you were a little softer, a little more patient, a little quieter, everything would become better. But not every chaos is healed by your staying. There are places where the longer you remain, the more you lose the peace I gave you. There are relationships that do not need another explanation, but need a holy boundary. There are cycles that do not need more effort to rescue them, but require you to step out in reverence and wisdom. I did not call you to become a vessel to hold every poison from others. I called you to become a place of light, truth, and mercy. but also a place with a door that knows how to close when evil seeks to enter. The peace I give is not fragile like human emotions that change easily. It does not depend on whether someone likes you today, whether someone understands you immediately, or whether circumstances bend to your will. That peace is like deep water, not loud on the surface, but steadily flowing in the hidden places. To lead you to that water, I sometimes have to draw you away from the noisy marketplaces of comparison, from rooms filled with judgment, from tables where you have to strain yourself just to be accepted. I separate you not to make you smaller, but so that you no longer live by outward applause. I pull you away not to punish you, but to teach you to discern the difference between what is familiar and what is healthy, between attachment and bondage, between the call of love and the pull of chaos. In this season, learn to love the quiet I give you. Let the days without many human voices become days when you hear more clearly what I have placed within your heart. Let the evenings when you no longer have to explain yourself to anyone become times of rest beneath my covering. Let the empty spaces in your schedule not frighten you, but become soil where I plant simplicity, gratitude, and gentle strength again. You do not need to fill every distance with a hurried replacement. Not every empty place needs someone else to enter immediately. Some spaces must be kept clean, so I can place the new thing there at the right time. Some fields must lie still for a season, so the soil can recover, and only afterward can it bear good fruit. And as you walk through this journey of separation, I do not want you to become cold or closed off. I want you to become discerning. There is a difference between running away out of fear and stepping away out of obedience. There is a difference between building walls out of bitterness and setting boundaries out of respect for the life I have given. I am not telling you to hate the people who have made you weary. I am teaching you not to let them continue ruling your peace. I am not telling you to despise the places you have passed through. I am teaching you to recognize that not every place that once held you has the right to keep you forever. When you leave with a clean heart, without revenge, without curses, without clinging to resentment, your steps will become light. You leave chaos not as one defeated, but as a child being led by the Father into rest. Trust me in this drawing away, beloved child. Do not weep as though what I have removed from you was your final source of life. I am the water that never runs dry. What I separate from you cannot steal what I have appointed to give you. The one who must leave cannot ruin the future I am preserving. The door that must close cannot block you from the path I have opened. Let distance do its work. Let silence wash away the old noise. Let solitude teach you to stand firm in my love. Then you will see that the place that seemed deserted contains a peaceful stream. The place that seemed like being pulled away is actually where you are being brought deeper into peace. I am leading you, not into emptiness, but into a clear sky, where you can live lighter, truer, and closer to me each day. I have placed within you the ability to discern, not so that you may live suspicious of everyone, but so that you may walk in wisdom. Pure intuition is not baseless fear, nor is it the habit of judging too quickly. It is the small lamp I have placed within you, so that when you pass through unclear places, you will not be swept away by appearances. There are people who speak very beautiful words, but behind those words lies an unrighteous purpose. There are opportunities that open at just the right time, but beneath them is the trap of haste. There are promises that sound like support, but if you listen carefully, you will sense the scent of control, pressure, and bondage within them. So do not only listen to what people say, look at what their words produce in you. Do they bring peace or unrest? Do they lead you closer to truth, or make you deceive yourself? Do they make you pure, or make you feel that you must hide? Sometimes truth does not enter your life like a blazing fire. It comes like a thin ray of light, slipping through the doorway, just enough for you to realize the room is not as clean as you thought. You may not understand everything yet, may not be able to name what is wrong, may not have enough words to explain it to others, but if within you there remains a gentle prompting that says, "Be careful," then honor it. I do not require you to react loudly, nor do I tell you to condemn anyone, nor do I command you to live in panic. I only want you to know how to pause, observe, pray, and keep the necessary distance until the truth reveals itself. There are things that, if you slow down for one day, you will avoid many years of pain. There are words that, if you do not answer too quickly, will reveal the real motive behind them. There are doors that, if you do not enter immediately, will show you why I allowed your heart to feel uneasy. Remember the story of Abigail, the wise woman who recognized danger before disaster fell upon her household. When David was insulted and was coming forward in anger, many people might have seen only a conflict between two sides. But Abigail discerned what was moving beneath the surface: her husband's pride, David's pain, and the danger of bloodshed if there was no timely act of humility. She did not wait for everything to collapse before she wept. She listened, acted with gentleness, brought gifts to meet David, spoke with wisdom, and through this a disaster was prevented. Do you see? Quiet discernment can save an entire household. A heart that knows how to listen deeper than words can become a bridge that restrains anger, haste, and sorrowful consequences. In the same way, I want you to learn to listen to what is happening beneath the surface. Do not be persuaded only by a smile, by friendliness, by praise, by the appearance of righteousness, or by someone arriving at just the right time. Look at consistency. Look at the fruit of behavior. Look at how a person acts when they do not get what they want. Look at how they speak about those who are absent. Look at whether they respect your boundaries or constantly try to make you feel guilty for saying no. Look at whether, after being near them, your heart feels lighter, brighter, and more peaceful, or whether you always leave feeling weary, confused, small, and doubtful of yourself. Those signs are not random. They are fragments of truth I allow you to see before the whole picture is opened. But my child, distinguish between the gentle warning and the shouting of fear. Fear often pushes you to react immediately, to suspect everyone, to cut off in bitterness, or to build walls because of old wounds. But a prompting that comes from me usually carries alertness. Though serious, it is not chaotic, and though clear, it is not cruel. My voice does not need to make you panic in order for you to obey. I can prompt you to step back while still keeping your heart tender. I can show you danger without turning you into a bitter person. So when you feel uneasy, do not immediately act on the first emotion. Bring it before me. Ask, is this wisdom, or is this a wound speaking? Then observe where my peace places its seal. There have been seasons when you ignored the inner prompting because you were afraid of disappointing others. You felt that something was not right, but you continued because you did not want to be seen as cold. You noticed a slight misalignment, but reassured yourself that you were thinking too much. You realized that words did not match actions, but you let it pass because you wanted to believe the best. I do not condemn you because you were once tender-hearted. A heart that knows how to love is precious before me, but mercy must go together with discernment. Love does not mean giving everyone the key to enter the deepest places of your life. Kindness does not mean ignoring every sign. Tolerance does not mean allowing deception to keep wearing the clothing of friendliness as it approaches you. I am teaching you a more mature way to live. Gentle but not naive, loving but not blind, open-hearted yet still guarding your door. When I allow you to sense that something is not right, it is not an invitation to judge others with pride, but an invitation to walk more slowly in wisdom. You can be kind and still keep distance. You can forgive and still not grant the same access as before. You can wish someone peace without continuing to let them disturb your peace. You can quietly leave what is unhealthy without building a courtroom with your words. True wisdom is not always loud. Many times, it is simply one timely step backward. Therefore, from today on, practice living slowly enough to hear what I place within you. Do not allow the noise of the world, the haste of emotion, or the pressure to please others to drown out that small prompting. When an invitation comes, ask me before you accept it. When a relationship draws near, look at its fruit before opening your heart more deeply. When an opportunity looks too beautiful but causes peace within you to leave, pause until the light becomes clearer. I do not want you to live in anxiety. I want you to live awake. I do not want you to see everyone as an enemy. I want you to know that not everything that glitters comes from me. Beloved child, I will continue to lead you in gentle ways. Sometimes it will be a sentence that makes you recognize the truth. Sometimes it will be a delay that protects you from a wrong decision. Sometimes it will be restless sleep that causes you to pray. Sometimes it will be a light but persistent feeling that remains until you are willing to listen. Do not despise small signals. Many times, that very small thing is the fence I have built before the edge of a cliff. Keep your heart pure, your eyes clear, your ears attentive, and your steps willing to wait. When you learn to honor the holy whisper within, you will no longer be easily deceived by the outer covering. I will teach you to see with wisdom, to love with purity, and to walk in the light, where truth is no longer covered by beautiful but empty words.